Hey everybody, Bradley here. Welcome back to another one. Talk to you about the state of Rona and masks and the state of fear and the fear factors, I like to call it, that we're being taught. Now, as time goes on, we are seeing more and more mandates. Here in Michigan, our governor has mandated that everybody, when they go inside anywhere indoors, a place of business, that they require all people to wear a mask. Now, that's also said for large gatherings outside. It's funny how these protests and everything were okay to a lot of governors, but when it comes time to going inside of a store, you can't. Very, very peculiar. Something to look at. Now, the mainstream media, they keep pushing the use of masks for fear, and it's all going to fall apart. Now, let's look at something that we should have had from the very beginning. From the very beginning, we should have had this. On June 1st, this was published. Now, this is a study, and it's a meta-study, meaning that it came from, it was a conglomeration, or they looked at multiple other studies to come up with their own facts. Now, this came from the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, and they break down a couple of things in here. First, the size of the virus of COVID is 0.125 micrometers. Now, the flu is even smaller than that. It is 0.08 micrometers. And just to give you a comparison of this, a strain of hair is roughly the size of 150. So we have 0.125, 0.08, and 150 micrometers. So what they did is they looked at one study coming out of the University of Illinois in Chicago. They looked at different types of masks and their efficacy at different things. Now the N95, which is obviously the best bet in situations when we need them. Now N95s work up to 0.3 micrometers. Now there are certain problems with that. Fitting on the face, you have to be fitted for N95s, and a lot of these now have these exhalation valves or respiration valves, and so that's going to get your exhalation out to the air that would not normally, as if we're pressing it through the mask that the N95s classically are made of. Now, they also looked at surgical masks. Surgical masks were not effective in anything less than 100 micrometers, and then your typical cloth masks were 0% effective. Now, in conclusion, they said that these masks will not reduce the transmission of SARS-CoV-2. Now, if this did work, let's get rid of COVID for a minute. Let's look at the flu, okay? The flu, why do we not wear masks all year round for the flu? During flu season, in the least, they would say, wear masks, wear masks, wear masks. But why not? It's because they don't work. These are doing nothing for us. The only reason that they are being used is for the fear factor. Now, imagine you going out, going in the public, you going shopping, whether it's a big box store, your local grocer, or anything like that, and no one is wearing a mask. Would you think that there's a problem? Probably not. Or you would think that it's not as big of a deal as it is. Now, the mainstream media and the deep state, that's why you see every single waking minute, everything is breaking news, everything is in red and yellow and orange. It's because they have the best people advertising that play with your subconscious and playing you through repetition, training your brain into something is worse than what it is. And almost everything you see on the mainstream media is going to be worse than what it is because they're constantly pushing a certain narrative. Now, if in our head we see masks on people, we are going to associate that with the message that we're being taught, which is that things are much more worse than what they really are. It's going to associate a problem when there wasn't really as big of a problem as it was. Now, when we're subconsciously thinking that there was a problem, even though we're having a false sense of security, and there's these other studies mentioned that do say pretty much flat out that these are providing a false sense of security. That's all they're doing. So they might reduce our stress levels, which can allow our natural immune system to fight respiratory diseases and other things because we're not in that fight or flight situation. Our immune system can work better than if we weren't. Okay, I could see that. But it's providing that false sense of security that wearing these is actually benefiting our health and preventing the transmission of SARS both to and from people. So we need to start looking at things a little bit different. And through this state of fear, we are having more time. But through time, with some patience, we are going to be exposing the fact that these things aren't working, that these things just aren't working out anymore. So that's all I want to share with you guys. So again, thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. And as always, protect yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one.